Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Tastemakers podcast. This, of course, being the podcast we talk about everything going on in the world of TV and film and talk about what's good, what's bad, what's worth checking out, all of that good stuff. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and with me, as always, is Grace. How you doing, Grace?
I'm doing well, Taran. Yeah. Excited to chat TV and movies with you, as we do every week here on the Tastemakers.
That is what we do. We're going to talk through some news, some interesting sort of cancellation news potentially about Dexter. Some of the new things that came out this week. I did check out Peacemaker and Long Story Short, and maybe catch up a little bit on Alien Earth and talk about what's coming up this week, including Thursday Murder Club, which we mentioned before, Caught Stealing, and a couple of other things.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Go. So this was weird news that we have been talking a lot about Dexter Resurrection and how successful the show has been in terms of like both numbers and reception. And Dexter Original Sin, the prequel show, also was well received, and you would think with the success of Resurrection, something that would theoretically have even more momentum behind it. However, despite already being renewed for a season 2, it has since been canceled, unrenewed.
This is so strange. I mean, this presumably is fully a like Skydance coming in and being like, why'd you do that move? So while it does seem weird that it got renewed and then like kind of canceled, it did all happen in the middle of a merger. This is essentially similar, not totally the same situation, but this was the big thing about the South Park New Deal thing, where it was like, maybe don't do this thing before we're about to take over the company. So it gets canceled. I think it is surprising in the sense that like, yeah, the show is well received, seemed to be doing well. There's another show that has since come out. It feels like they could have built up like more of a Dexter universe, but for whatever reason, Dexter Original Sin is gone, which presumably would have been the cheaper of the shows to make, you would think, just because there's not as much of the star power in Original Sin. But
right. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that they just want to put all of their focus and effort into Resurrection, given how successful it's been. The news came with like, hey, they're about to start working on Resurrection season 2, but definitely a bit strange. And yeah, might have something to do with the Paramount situation at the moment. There's talks of a lot of sort of like layoffs coming at Paramount with the new leadership. So interesting stuff, but we will now not be getting season 2 of Original Sin.
Yeah, Clyde Phillips was only he did write, it looks like he did write a bunch of the episodes. Who's the creator of Dexter? He did write the not the creator of the show, certainly he didn't write the books, but looks like he wrote the finale episode of Original Sin. So it looks like he was pretty involved. Maybe that's one of the deals, is like, if he can only do one, Dexter Resurrection takes priority. That could be the case, because I think he writes, he's writing a bunch of Dexter Resurrection. So I think fans are a little disappointed in this. It's like, I was certainly excited to see more Original Sin. I do think there's probably like, what else is there to do in Dexter Original Sin? Like, it's so handcuffed to a degree because it's a prequel, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So interesting stuff from Dexter. You reminded me of this earlier, that K-pop Demon Hunters, we talked about this movie a little while ago, released on Netflix, has since been brought to theaters for like some sing-along showings and stuff. This movie is continuing to just do incredibly well.
Yeah, I think it's on Spotify charts. It's like, this thing has become quite a bit of a sensation. It won the weekend, so it made $18 million over this weekend.
Wild.
With it is wild. I think there's an interesting debate about I think some people were watching in the theaters being like, oh my God, this always should have been a theatrical release. On the other hand, I don't know if this thing becomes the sensation it is without Netflix, like it being on the Netflix platform, which is the most subscribed to streaming platform. And so I've always said that there's a thing where, in order for a show or for a movie to kind of become even like viral, it does need a theatrical run. I feel like Megan and Cocaine Bear are these like sort of like smaller movies that, because they had a big marketing push. Smile is another example of a movie that I think like it's smaller, but because it had a theatrical run with a marketing push, became a little bit of a sensation. This is a really just interesting thing to have happened, that it was on Netflix first and then, won the box office by being released in theaters afterwards. It's very interesting, Taran.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting stuff. And it kind of deserves it. I mean, it's a fun movie. The music is great. Just really interesting approach and seeing much success. So fun little piece of news there.
I mean, to
Anything
be
else?
fair, it didn't have that much competition this past weekend. I mean, like Weapons is
True.
still doing fairly well. Freakier Friday is out. There wasn't a ton of new stuff, especially stuff that you could go see like as a whole film. The Bad Guys 2, I think, is still in theaters. So, not to
Good timing.
discredit. Yeah, it was really good timing to release. I know a lot of people who went to go watch this in theaters, or were like a little bit bummed that they couldn't make it to go see that. I know some people who tried to get tickets and it was sold out. So good for K-pop Demon Hunters, a sensation. Imagine we'll see a sequel in a few years.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the new shows that aired, because as I mentioned, I did check out Peacemaker, the first episode, only one episode out so far. And I thought it was fine. That was
Yeah, we talked last week about the way that this is like, and I was like trying to figure out, and I do feel like it's right that it doesn't really matter. The show, I think, does sort of figure itself out by the end of the first episode, but there is a thing where like the first season is not canon, but now season 2 is canon. I thought it was good. I liked it, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird to only have one episode of a thing, honestly. I feel like it definitely felt like that there was a lot of catching up to do, because it's been 3 years since the previous season aired. They did do a little bit of just a slight amount of retconning of the previous season. So we're trying to like catch up on where we are, but also start some new things. And it felt like it had just a lot to do in this first episode that was really crammed in, and I felt a little bit lost there. But I'm still excited. I think that there's a lot of potential here for season 2, and it definitely had some funny moments. So
There there was a ranking that came out recently of like the top 10 wrestlers turned actors recently, and Dwayne Batista was number 1. Dave Batista from Guardians of the Galaxy, Dune, a bunch of other stuff, was number 1, and then The Rock was number 2, and then John Cena was number 3. And I feel like there was a big thing after the first episode, which I do think he does act very well in. Was like, how did he rank below The Rock? He's really good. I do think he's pretty
mm,
good. The episode has a bit of a wild ending. If I'm like, the problem
yeah,
here that I'm like, I can't really debate whether or not it worked as one episode or not, because I actually binged a bunch of this. I had
right.
screeners, so it's hard for me to remember. I think I just jumped into these back to back to back. But I feel like the ending of the first episode is pretty fun, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So there's that. Good
Yes.
cliffhanger for next week.
So we'll stick around for Peacemaker. I also checked out Long Story Short. I watched one episode of this as well. This is the animated show from the creator of BoJack Horseman. um, Seems to be the synopsis says it spans multiple years. It kind of took me off guard a little bit at first, that like we're, I guess, going to get just like different periods of time during these people's lives. You can see even on the poster, like they're at different ages at various stages of the show. It's honestly, other than that, a relatively straightforward kind of family comedy drama at the moment.
Is the premise that they're like thinking back on their childhood and then like then you go into that story. That's the impression I got. Is it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were going for, but it wasn't like 100% clear to me that that's exactly what we're
Well,
doing yet.
I think from the title too, like it's a long story, and then it spans their whole childhood, but it's these
Yeah.
short stories, you know. So, I didn't watch this. I didn't have a chance to check it out. I was mostly at the theater this past week, but people seem to like it ish. I feel like there's been a bit of a marketing push for it as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like the 7.3 here is a pretty good rating from me. Like, it's good, but there's nothing in it that was like, oh, this is incredible. Like, this really is like a unique take, or like something that's like is really gonna stick for me. It doesn't have the sort of like BoJack Horseman hook, I would say, as of yet, but I believe all of the episodes are out. So I have not checked out more than just the first. So I don't know. We'll see. I may watch more, but probably not during a Big Brother season. So
I mean, the thing about I feel like in thinking about BoJack Horseman, I feel like the show was good, but didn't really fully kind of like reveal itself to be what it was. I feel like that's a slow burn of a show to a degree in terms of like what you're actually watching, and I just wonder if that will be the same case with Long Story Short. I could see this being a thing where it's like, you know, as you're starting to watch it, it doesn't hit, and then you watch the full season, you're like, oh, that was actually maybe better than I thought it was going to be. I feel like that's my like, you know, I feel like it took me a long time to get into BoJack, and then once you see what it's
mm,
doing, which is
yeah,
this guy who's like, you know, kind of this awful dude who's sort of grappling with that idea. It was super compelling and it's super good. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, I did not watch Hostage, but I have heard about it. People are talking about this show, and primarily what they're saying is it's not very good.
Yeah, I started to watch this and honestly felt like I wasn't like paying enough attention to you
Hmm.
know, be worth keeping going. I felt like I was gonna have to rewatch it at some point, so I probably will. But I kind of heard the same, and I kind of feel that like it's not like it hooked me immediately. I just feel like there's so many versions of this type of show that are out there that I kind of was like, maybe I should just be watching, you know, like something else. So I did choose to go watch something else. Yeah.
Hmm. Um. So, anything else? Anything else new from that you watched this week? Maybe.
Yes, so I saw a fair amount of movies this past
Mm.
week. So the first movie I saw was Relay,
Hmm.
which is the Riz Ahmed movie, has Lily James in it. Premise behind this is that Riz Ahmed plays a person who helps people who have like stolen a document from their work, who were thinking about whistleblowing but actually want to instead get paid for that. So they've like kind of changed their mind and would rather basically get paid a large amount of money, basically blackmail the company that they work for, saying if you don't pay me, I will release these documents. So a very interesting like gray area thing, I think, in terms of like, should you actually help somebody do this, or should you be taking the documents and like giving them to newspapers or whatever? And then the other interesting quirk is to like help hide his identity. There's a lot of that in this movie of like not wanting people to know who is doing what and who is where. Is that he uses a system called the relay service, which is essentially a telephone service for people who are hard of hearing or who are deaf. And so you like transcribe to a person, and then that person relays the message. So it's like the conversations are always going through these intermediaries, and those people, because of if you think about the way that those telephone services would have to be protected, they're like federally protected from being, you can't like subpoena they actually don't keep documents of the phone calls. So all of that to say, it's like sort of this like interesting world building thriller. I thought as it was going, I wanted it to be better, and then I feel like the ending like elevates it a little. There's like a moment in the film was like, oh wow, that's good, that's good. And the 7.3 on IMDb is probably about, I probably rate it a bit higher than that. I do think it takes a little while to get going. It was probably very helpful that I was in a theater watching it, because I do think
Mm.
like watching it at home, you might be like second screening a little bit more, and like you might not feel like it's worth investing, but I do feel like it gets to a very satisfying place by the end of the movie. So I would recommend Relay. I thought it was pretty good. I feel like not bad. And Riz Ahmed is great, and Lily James is great. So Sam Worthington is also in it. He plays a bad guy, which I feel like he doesn't play bad guys that much, and he's really fun as a bad guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
I saw Honey Don't, which is sort of this the Margaret Qualley. This is Ethan Cohen, I believe, one of the Cohen brothers, with his wife Trisha Cook. This is the second in sort of like a trilogy that's not really a trilogy. Like Margaret Qualley has been in both films. I thought this movie's dialogue was so bad. I thought the story was fine, but the writing was kind of, I thought at times like excruciatingly bad. There's some fun scenes. Don't need to rush out to see Honey Don't. Unfortunately, because it has a tremendous cast. This is Margaret Qualley, Chris Evans, Aubrey Plaza, Charlie Day is in this movie. I feel like I'm even missing people. Maybe not. That's basically it. It's a great cast, and unfortunately, I just wish it was a fair bit better. So that's Honey Don't. You don't need to have seen the first one, which is called Drive Away Dolls, also with Margaret Qualley. Margaret Qualley, I think, is the only connective tissue in the movie. And then the last new movie I saw was Highest to Lowest. I saw the Denzel Washington Spike Lee movie, and I thought this was really good. This was like actually kind of the opposite in terms of Honey Dip, where I thought the dialogue in this movie was so good. It's based off existing IP in terms of it's based on an Akira Kurosawa movie, High and Low. And so the story is quite good, obviously adapted to be modern day. I thought this was really fun. It's probably like a tad too long. It comes in over 2 hours. But the soundtrack is really good because the premise of this is that he's the head of a record label. And overall, I really enjoyed this. And actually, the theater that I was in was like not super full, but people were loving this movie as well. And I feel like that sometimes helps where like other people are laughing at the jokes that are supposed to get laugh lines. So overall, I liked Highest to Lowest. Comes out on Apple TV next Friday, I believe, so people can check it out if you're not able to check it out in theaters. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So that's Highest to Lowest. Yeah. And I saw Black Swan, the re-release in IMAX, which was super fun. I am doing the New York Times 100 Best Films on the Crying Laughing podcast. And so I've committed myself that if I do see a movie that's on the list be re-released in theaters, I'll check it out. This is the 15th anniversary of this film. And yeah, boy, it was really good. And it was so fun to watch in a packed IMAX theater. So yeah. Taryn, the only other thing I have, which is kind of newsy, what I was going to talk about, which is that the Pitt released a trailer. And I mentioned it not because I'm that interested in the trailer. The Pitt is a show that I'm going to watch no matter what. But it was so smart of them to do this on the last week of Emmy voting. So this was the last week of Emmy voting, and they like put themselves firmly in the brains of every Emmy voter by being like, just so you know, our show is coming back with another 15 episodes in January, Taryn. So exciting. The Pitt coming back.
It is wild. It feels so soon. Granted, there's still like a decent amount of way away, but like it's only like 4 months now.
Yeah, not that long. Yeah.
It's wild that it's coming up so soon. And yeah, definitely very excited for more of the Pitt.
15 episodes. Yeah, but it's so smart that they were like, they put it. I would not be surprised to see them rack up a fair number of Emmys next month.
All right. I did want to bring up Alien Earth again. I watched episode 3 of Alien Earth. And I will say, I talked a little bit about this last time. We won't get into spoilers this time. But basically, I felt much better about episode 3 than I did the first 2 episodes. I felt like there was a trajectory that I thought the show was going in that was quickly dispelled and is now onto like new things. And that has alleviated a lot of the skepticism that I had toward where they were going. It's like, okay, now I'm not sure entirely, and that makes me happier.
Yeah, Stephen Fishback tweeted about Alien Earth this week as well, saying that he's watching and he loves Alien, but he's having a little bit of a difficult time with the terrible decision makings that they're doing, even in a universe where people often make terrible terrible decisions, pretty notoriously in Alien, the Alien franchise. I think Steven is butting up a little bit with the show um, as well. But I do agree that it sort of moves out of what the first episodes. If you think about the first episodes being dropped in the first week as well, and then I feel like they were a little bit cliffhangery. That I think you can understand where it feels like, oh, this is what the show is going to be about. I do feel like he pivots away from that in episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So more optimistic for Alien Earth than I was before, but still, I would not say exactly what I hoped it would be prior to watching at all. Anything else that you've watched this week, new or old?
I have watched some stuff, but I don't. One of them I can't talk about. The other one is Thursday Murder Club, which I believe is coming out this
Yes, that is one of
week.
the upcoming movies.
Yeah, so I was Netflix was gracious enough to share a screener with me, and I think this is like pretty good. I'm cautious to like full throated. I guess it's not the best movie I've ever seen. But it's fun and it's easy to watch. I actually do think there's a world where this works better as a Netflix movie rather than a theatrical. It did get a limited theatrical release, I think specifically in the UK. Um, I have such a fondness for the book that it was very exciting for me to see it come to life on the screen, and it's excellently cast. But I think that there was something. There's a way that I think in a book, the sort of whimsical nature of these like seniors who get caught up in, a cold case file works a little bit better than it. I feel like the balance. I mean, this is directed by Chris Columbus, and I feel like sometimes like our like golden age director, like he's had a ton of hits, but maybe he's a little bit, I feel bad. I don't even know how old Chris Columbus is. I feel like I'm talking about him like he's
I mean,
like
he's been
100 years old.
directing movies for ages.
He's 66. I feel like you would, I don't know. It feels maybe like he's older than that, but I don't know. There may be something a little bit missing about Thursday Murder Club. Still thought it was pretty good, I guess I should say. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's a little disappointing, but we'll see.
I know.
All right. So Thursday Murder Club. There's also a couple of shows. What I will say is this is not a scripted show, but I did see on Netflix when I went to watch Long Story Short that they have another Korean reality show, or sorry, it was Japanese reality show. That is called Final Draft, that reminded me of the Korean reality show Physical 100.
Oh yeah, okay.
The idea being that they're taking like a bunch of like retired athletes at the end of their like athletic career, and they're all going to compete on like a this physical competitive reality show. And so I started watching. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like a bunch of older contestants. Like that's kind of fun. And I was immediately introduced to the cast, who were 30 years old, 30 years old, 29 years old, 28 years old, 33 years old. I was like,
to be fair, Tim, when you watch sports and they're like this grizzled old veteran who's 34, and you're like, oh man, that sucks. Yeah. So they are all retired. Is that the case?
Yep.
They just happen to be still very young.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was mad. But I thought it was funny.
Is it good? Did you like it?
I watched the first like episode and a half. It was fine. It was not nearly as fun as Physical 100 so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Physical. Should I watch Physical 100?
Oh, it's a good time.
Okay.
I would say it's like it's unique and fun, I would say. And so worth checking out.
See, but you've been a fan of like American Ninja Warrior and things like.
Yes.
Is it in line with that, or is it like is that what it is?
American Ninja Warrior is like the worst version of those shows. Like the original Sasuke is much better in the sense that there's a bunch of competitors and you get a small little intro package on who they are, but it's mostly about the obstacle course. Whereas American Ninja Warrior is like All right, here is the 5-minute intro package to
Right.
the sad sob story of who this person is, and then they're going to be
Right.
on the course for about 30 seconds.
Right.
Physical 100, there's 100 people, and so there's people getting eliminated left and right, and you mostly get to know them through their actions on the show, which is always fun.
Right.
So overall, I would say much better than a show like American Ninja Warrior in that
Okay.
sense.
All right.
All right. Otherwise, though, we do have Upload season 4 is going to be airing. I'm honestly shocked this show still is around. But I watched the first season of it way back in 2020. But yeah, still going. Season 4.
I feel like I did watch season 3, but maybe this is the most, this is condemning the show a little bit. I honestly don't remember if I watched season 3 or if the last thing I watched was season 2. I think I did because they did this weird thing where season 3 started getting dropped week to week. Is that right? Yeah. I mean, this is a Greg Daniels show, so obviously, Greg Daniels notoriously of adapting The American Office. Yeah, I do like it. I do think there's like characters and moments in this show that are good, but I do think it sort of peaked with season 1. Season 1 is well worth, if people haven't
Yeah,
checked out
it's a good
Upload
show.
season 1, it is well worth watching. But I don't know whether it continues. I feel like maybe I see, this is so bad. I can't remember how much of it I've watched. So
I found it to be a fun little show that I had no desire to see a season 2 of.
yeah,
And so I didn't watch more of it. And so that was sort of my take on it.
it looks like season 4 might only be 4 episodes. Is this right?
Oh,
Like that's all I'm seeing on the Wikipedia, and I'm seeing that on.
yeah,
So maybe just a quick like 4-episode wrap up. Looks like Greg Daniels wrote the last
perhaps.
episode. So
Yeah.
okay, that's something.
All right. There's another show, Terminal List Dark Wolf.
Is it
You
show on
guessed it.
Amazon Prime?
Amazon
Oh, yeah.
Prime.
Yeah. Taylor Kitsch, eh? Okay. People
Yeah.
seem to like the Terminalist. That was the
People
Chris
loved
Pratt
it.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has like a 7.9 on IMDb. Okay. Well, if people watch this and like it, let me know. But I'm probably not going to watch Terminalist Dark Wolf.
No, I don't plan to.
Wait, is Chris Pratt going to be in this? He's on the poster there.
Yeah,
Is that him?
he's in all the promotional photos, but I don't see him on the cast list. So, here he is. He's only in 2 episodes.
Okay.
He's probably just making an appearance here and there, and they're using him for promotion.
It's a prequel. Is he? No, there's no way he's playing.
Wait, but he looks so much older.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? Not really what we're up to here. There's also a show called Atomic that's coming out. This is another like random Alfie Allen show. That is created by Gregory Burke, who you probably wouldn't know. But it's on Sky. It's a thriller. 2 civilians get caught up in cartels uranium smuggling across North Africa.
Apparently based on a nonfiction book. So that's interesting. Yeah, well, Alfie, so many of the Game of Thrones people have had such a tough time post Game of Thrones. Is anybody who's the most successful post Game of Thrones person?
Jason Momoa, probably, right?
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, yeah, probably. Yeah.
He got out. He got out while the going was good.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, Atomic.
Yeah. Not many shows coming this week, but there are a few movies, including Caught Stealing, the new Darren Aronofsky film, that I have seen plenty of previews for in theaters. This is the Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, Matt Smith sort of it feels like it says like psychological thriller, but yeah, dark, like comedic thriller kind of vibe is what you get from it. Dark comedic thriller.
Yeah, I almost went to see this instead of Honey Don't, and I ended up swapping my movies around and saw Honey Don't instead. This was in a limited release for the last week. I've heard the reviews on this are not great. I do think Aronofsky. I mean, I did just watch Black Swan. I really like Black Swan. I
Mm.
like The Wrestler. I think The Whale is not great. And I don't know. I like Austin Butler. I like the cast of this movie a lot. Matt Smith, Liev Schreiber, Regina King, Zoe Kravitz. Good cast, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Mother is I forgot about Mother. Have you
Yeah, I
seen
mean, it
Mother?
really is
Yeah,
like Black Swan. Like he was, I mean, he was like top tier back in the
I
day. I
know.
mean, Pi, Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, Black Swan was, The Fountain was in there, but like that was a huge streak of films. Then he got his like the weird Noah movie, then
Yeah.
Mother, which was such a strange film, The Whale. And now this feels a bit more conventional in terms of like something that you might see from Aronofsky, but like
Mhm.
it's strange in almost how conventional it is. So yeah, I'm interested to see what the reception is.
This does have a little bit of like it feels like the world is fun. Like I think like a lot of what's happening here is he's going between these different like Liev Schreiber's playing like sort of Hasidic Jew. Like there's like there's like it looks like he's like, but and you have Matt Smith playing sort of like a punk, English punk. Like it feels like that could be fun.
The
Um,
vibe is very Guy Ritchie.
yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll see. Caught stealing.
Yes. Also, the Toxic Avenger is finally getting a release, I believe. This I think premiered at like a film festival like 2 years ago,
Yeah,
and
I get.
is now like finally getting its actual release. This is the Toxic Avenger movie with Peter Dinklage. I think it's, is it Marvel? I don't know. It's a comic book thing.
It's a reboot of the Toxic Avenger, which is a remake. Yeah, and it's a remake of the 1984 film. So it played at Fantastic Fest 2 years ago, 2023.
Hmm.
This I've been seeing a bunch of previews for this. I was at the movie theater obviously a lot this past weekend, and I think every movie except for Black Swan played this trailer. Gotta say, it looks pretty bad. This
I mean,
it's
it
based
is
on a graphic
a
novel from Legendary Comics. Yeah,
yeah, so it's a comic book like adaptation. It's the genre is body horror, splatter horror, action comedy horror. So it's, I think, meant to be very goofy and ridiculous. Of course, that is a fine line to walk.
yeah. Um, the cast is Peter
Very good.
Dinklage, Elijah Wood,
Mhm.
Jacob Tremblay plays Peter Dinklage's son. Kevin Bacon, I think, is in this as
Yep.
well. Like, yeah, I don't know. And then yeah, the 2 year release thing worries me a little bit. Like, I don't know, what were they doing with this movie for 2 years? So
Does make it seem like they don't have a lot of confidence in it.
yeah, and a late September movie release date is not great. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to see this. I have to. It does just feel like a little bit on the side of like, you know, I don't know about this.
This is one I genuinely probably will watch, but certainly not in theaters.
Right. That's fair.
But I would for sure throw it on in October.
Uh huh. Yeah, that's a good idea. Save it for Halloween.
Yeah. Um. All right. That's honestly that's most of what I've got here this week.
Yeah, I don't think I have any. I did go through and watch some movies that I've been just I threw on my watch list the other day and just picked some movies out of random. Let's see. I watched Y2K. Turn this is
Oh.
the and I really wanted to watch this because it's Kyle Mooney uh 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 directed movie. Horror, great idea, horror movie based on, what happens if Y2K was real. A little bit too schlocky for my liking. Like I wanted it to be more like super bad meets horror, and it wasn't. It's pretty out there. So I didn't love that. And then what else did I watched Death of a Unicorn is the other movie I
Oh yeah,
watched. And this is
that's
the
one I really
Paul.
was hoping would be good, but
Yeah, it just doesn't really like there's some interesting ideas in here. I like everybody who's in it as well. It's Paul Rudd, Jenna Ortega, Will Poulter, Richard E. Grant, Anthony Carrigan is in this movie, who I want him to break out at some point after his success in Barry. And I just thought it was like, it's not bad, it's just not good either. It's like, it's just kind of like too boring. I feel like for a movie that's about killing a unicorn and then the unicorns wanting revenge on the people who killed them, could have been a fair bit better. And it's
mm,
just kind of blah. I know some people who really liked it, but I was not particularly one of them. So yeah, crossed a couple movies
kind of
off
what I heard.
my watch list last week.
Yeah. Listen, I would certainly like to, but this Big Brother season is continuing to be utterly ridiculous.
Yes,
So, still
totally
stuck
fair.
in the trenches here so far. But a bit of a shorter one today.
Yeah,
As the we are still really in the dredges of entertainment at the moment.
I really do feel, I feel like it's not a great movie release time, and TV has been a little slow at the moment. I probably definitely need to pull in some guests. Maybe not for next week, but the week after. I will be in the thick of the Toronto International Film Festival, watching a bunch of movies.
Mm.
So I will not be very good at TV watching during that time. So might have to find some folks. I would love, we would have to try to reach out to Steven if he's watching all of Alien Earth. Maybe when that wraps
Oh
up,
yeah.
might have to get Steven on the horn.
All right. Well, that is what we have for you then this week. Shorter little episode. We'll be back next week to talk through some of the things coming up this week, and if we do manage to catch anything else in the meantime. So make sure you're subscribed, all of that good stuff. Check out all the other coverage we're doing over in other places. You can find me on YouTube and Twitch streaming about shows and stuff all the time. Grace, what do you got going on?
Yeah, I mentioned before I'm doing This Century in Cinema, so counting down the New York Times top 100 films over on the Crying Laughing podcast feed. I'm writing for Parade. I had an interview with Jennifer Holland come out this week. She's on Peacemaker, so that was great. And yeah, I'm on social media at Hi from Grace or at Go for Grace.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here today, and we will see all of you next time.